you know, you take your time, show them what you want to do, and being from school.
Let the games begin, John.
Yeah. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the East Dubuque City Council meeting. It is Monday, May 20th. I ask that you please turn your cell phones off during the meeting and please be quiet during discussions. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Twenty-four 0509, call to order.
Belkin.
Here.
Bergmeyer.
Here.
Dagenhart.
Here.
Mayor Digman.
Here.
Fleur.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Roby.
Here.
Attorney Hess.
Here.
24 0510, staff reports, city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have issued a initial building permit for site preparation for the New Era dispensary. They've, as you've probably seen driving down there, they broke ground about a week ago. So they've got the permit now to do the stormwater control required by the DOT, parking lot to torn down the building. And so all the preparation for the site, and then when they have the details for the building that'll be coming on site, they will submit a building permit for that. So we are getting ready to seek another auditor going forward. Fiscal 24 is nearly complete. I think she's up into January. After January, it should move faster. And then we'll close out that year. And then Cindy Parcher at the CPA is working on a document to recruit a new auditing company, for RFPs for a new auditing company. Water main breaks. I think working with Tony, we found a way to help people just a little bit through the water main breaks. There's a spigot on the well just across Montgomery, and when there's a water break, we will turn the water on at that spigot, and people will be able to use that water. We're advising them to use it, not to use it for drinking, because we can't be sure of the sanitary nature of the vessels that they bring down to carry the water in, so we don't want to get into that, but at least they'll have water for cleaning and washing and bathing kids and all those kind of things. The police and fire station, the garage has been removed, and tonight we'll be asking for to be able to get estimates to put a roof on and begin planning the restoration of the building. 526 Sherwood, which has been a frequent flyer issue for the council. The sale has gone through. The new owner was down this past week restoring services, and he's secured the building and plans on a very quick turnaround to have that building back into productive purposes. Stormwater planning, Tony and I, Travis and I talked with the DNR this week on their 3-year stormwater plan, which particularly focuses on Wisconsin Avenue coming down to 3rd. And they did cost-benefit analyses on a number of options there. And we presented them with some additional information that they didn't have. They're going back to work on finalizing the document. They were going to just have this meeting last week be a preliminary, and then they were going to plan a meeting with the council. But now, because they didn't realize that there was a pumping station at 6th Street, they've got to work that back into their plans. And so I'm not sure what the timing will be on that. Hopefully not another 3 years. The sewage lift stations, I've asked WHKS to look at the lift stations and ensure that we're ranking them properly and that we're doing them in the right time frame. They are not the company that did the initial work on it, but I'd like to have just another set of eyeballs on those projects. They're very expensive projects, and I think it pays to have a set of eyes looking at them that aren't the ones who are benefiting from the project. Water main priorities, we're going to be talking about tonight also, but Public Works sent cameras down in sewers in the areas that we're needing water main work to make sure that if we need to replace sewer lines at the same time, we should be doing everything that we need to do, digging once. The sale of the property north of the water tower, we've got the survey work being done. We finalized the lines on that, and I spoke with the analyst engineer from the state DOT and confirmed that if it's not a high volume retail business, that it shouldn't be any problem using our existing driveway to serve a building on the lot to the north of the water tower. We can't say for sure because they would have to put in for an amendment to the permit. But the person said the driveway we have is sufficient for regular commercial use, and as long as it didn't require a turn lane or some kind of additional work, we should be fine. That's what I have.
Thank you. Let's have a few things. The annual Father's Day pancake breakfast is June 16th, 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. at East Dubuque High School. It's sponsored by Troop 14 and 114. It's $10 all you can eat. Next order of business, important notice, you must renew your low-income utility assistance by June 30th. This is for all people that want to take advantage of the low-income discount. Please bring an income tax return or other documentation that proves you are still eligible for low-income assistance as soon as possible. If you don't show you are still eligible by June 30th, you will not receive the assistance on your July bill. And then the last thing in your packets, you noticed there was a document on the standing committees. We had talked about forming the committees after we got through the whole budget process and everything. So these committees will run from May 2024 through April 2025. I can just read it real quick here. The mayor formulates the committee structure and selects one council member from each ward to each committee. The mayor appoints one member as chair. The mayor and city manager are ex officio, non-voting members of all committees, with the city manager establishing the agendas. Unless otherwise specifically directed by the council, all committee actions are recommendations. So the Civil Service Committee, the description, this committee will advise management negotiators during collective bargaining negotiations. Formal disciplinary issues will be heard and disciplinary actions recommended by this committee to the city manager at the city manager's request. The chairman of this Civil Service Committee is Councilor Dagenhart. Members are Councilors Fleur and Meyer. Ordinance Committee. The Ordinance Committee is responsible for maintaining municipal codes, policies, and procedures. It is responsible for keeping the code up to date, recommending amendments to code that is unclear or unworkable, and recommending new provisions to the city code. The chair is Councilor Roby. Members are Belkin and Bergmeyer. Utilities Committee. This committee is responsible for analyzing and recommending price structures, processes, policies, and procedures impacting customers of city utilities, as well as municipal franchise agreements with utility companies. The committee will hear consumer disputes and grievances against the municipality and may make recommendations to the city manager at the city manager's request. Chair is Councilor Bergmeyer. Members are Fleur and Degenhardt. Development, Planning, and Infrastructure Committee. This committee is responsible for recommendations to improve the success of East Dubuque's businesses, plan capital improvements, and prioritize infrastructural investment. This committee will recommend TIF and annexation policy and oversee and coordinate comprehensive planning and committee goal setting. Chair is Councilor Meyer. Members are Councilors Belkin and Roby. Any questions about the committees at all? No? All right. That is all I have. We'll move on. Alderperson report. Belkin?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Next week, Monday, is the Memorial Day Parade. And just in case of inclement weather, and we've only done this once in the 55-plus years I've been participating in that if we get rained out, I was wondering if we could use City Hall to do the stuff we would ordinarily do at the cemetery. We did that like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I've seen no problem with that.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Bergmeyer?
Nothing this week, Mayor.
Thank you. Degenhardt?
Yeah, I got a couple things. We had the flowers from the Lions Club. Tony and the crew brought a water tank up, so we saved all that work of hauling the water to the flowers. And I want to thank Tim Runny for his big van that we used, truck, and Dick Trammell. We hauled 478 flowers at one time. And we got rid of every one of them.
JNR.
Great.
It turned out good, and J&R, he gave us a trailer too. So I want to give my thanks to them, because they helped this thing go, make it what it is.
Sure, it's a great cause, too. Anything else?
No, that's
All right, thank you. Fleur?
Nothing.
Thank you. Meyer?
Nothing to report.
All right. Roby?
Yeah, I got two things, please. I've been getting, excuse me, I've been getting complaints on the dirt, that the dust and stuff from Newt Marine. Is there any way we can get them to put like the vegetable oil coating or whatever down to hamper some of that dust flying through the neighborhoods? I've been getting quite a few complaints. From Newt Marine down here? Yeah.
It's been an ongoing issue. I know our officers have gone down there numerous times last year. They've got a water truck that they need to use to keep the dust down. And they just don't do it unless they're told to do it. So we'll continue to send the,
Is there any way we can, because you can put vegetable oil, they go around, collect the oils out of these restaurants and stuff. Is there any way we could get him to get a tanker? And that lasts most of the summer.
I think the most likely thing we can do is to let them know that it's going to cost them if they don't do
The
something,
nuisance ordinance.
and let them come up with the solution. I hesitate to tell a business what their solution should be,
Yeah.
but I don't hesitate to ensure that they keep that down. And I think, Luke, I think you went down there 3 times last year, last fall. So we will step that up this year.
Okay. And then my other thing, you were talking about turning that water spigot on down at Montgomery when we have water breaks. Probably a good question for Sue, actually. Do we need to put signage down there for not drinking use?
Yeah, we got that in the plans. We also have to put something out there so that they can access it more easily. But
Okay.
so it's an ongoing issue. But I think whenever the next one is, we'll turn that on. But
Okay.
it's not that the water would be unsafe.
No,
It's just that
but if it's going to be a
People might-
liability to East Dubuque, to the city, do we want to put some kind of signage down there just to protect us as a city?
Yeah, probably put that up. We'll have to put some kind of signage up anyway to be able to let people know that they have access to it. So,
Okay, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney Hess?
The only issue I had was the property at 206 and 206 and a half Fifth Street in East Dubuque. They had requested a 30-day extension to take back possession of that property and get it back in order. And so I was going to go ahead and authorize that. I think it's a reasonable request. If the city manager is good with that.
yep.
So at least that's in the works of getting resolved. And that's about all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you. Police Chief Kovacic? Thank you. Public Works, Tony Van Ostren?
Nothing right now.
Thank you. Chief Heim?
The only thing I got is the engine is scheduled to be done next Wednesday, the 29th, but we have to go up to Michigan sometime thereafter and do the final inspection.
All right. Thank you. 24-0511, speakers from the floor. Joe?
Thank you. So I had Miss Pam print out a couple of copies. If you'll please take those out and put those in front of you. So last meeting I was asked to bring up a couple of designs for the new sign we have discussed, and I have two. I would like to say, for a few years now, East Dubuque welcome sign that sits along Rundy Auto Group near the elementary school has been falling apart. The sign is run down, rotted, and completely unacceptable to be displayed. The words are broken, rotted, and losing the beauty it once held. It is time to tear down that old piece of firewood and completely create a new sign. By replacing the sign, we will build a greater message about entering our beloved city. The sign will be a symbol to welcome anyone and everyone who enters our home. It also provides a sense of destination. Of course, most people will know where they are, but this sign will demonstrate what it means to be in East Dubuque. And if this project becomes a success, I guarantee that this will lead to others to the idea that anything is possible and improvements can be made in life. So with these two ideas here, myself, the shop teacher over at East Dubuque, and also Leo Club have talked about this. Design number one, if you look at that, is a completely different sign. Almost the exact same measurements as the first one, but a different shape. The letters will be sort of 3D as they are on the current sign.
That's okay.
And then design two, we would take out the old sign and rebuild one that is identical to it to make it look fresh and good as new. The ideal completion time for this project we're hoping is to be the late fall of 2024. Fundraising will be done on behalf of the high school next year to raise money. Pricing for this project can range from around $500 to $7,500. I asked for the City Council's dedication with objectives of the project that I will bring them next school year. And I would also like to mention I had a meeting with the city manager, and he told me that because I had some questions about permitting and whatnot, and I asked him if we put the sign in the exact same spot, which I've spoken to Tim Rundy about. He's given me, he likes the idea. I just need to fully confirm it with him. If we put in the exact same spot, the city manager told me that if for some reason the state comes down here, sees the sign, and was like, hey, where's the permit for that one? Then it will become a city council matter, not us. Do I have any questions?
So how many signs we putting up, Joe?
Right now, I'm thinking just one, sir.
We were down there selling flowers here a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling Randy that I'd like to see three of them. One coming off the bridge, that's state property there. What we'd have to do to get permission, I don't know, and one coming in on Highway 20. So that's going to require a little more fundraising, okay?
Yes, sir.
having done this for a number of years before I retired from fundraising, my recommendation would be you start right off the bridge and hit all the businesses in the Highway 20 corridor. You know, going down Vans, Midtown, all the way down to the chemical plant. You would come back with enough money to put 4 of them up in a short time. This is my experience. You take what you got and, you know, and your academic advisor, whoever, be a piece of cake.
Well, the reason that I decided that we should keep the sign in the exact same spot is because not only is it closer to the city, it's more well known to most people. And despite where you're coming from, even if you're coming from Wisconsin or Dubuque, you're going to see the sign. You still drive past it. And plus, that same area is where the school puts their sports signs for football, basketball, track, field. So I thought if we have this sign here, and especially if it's a sign that's made by the school in that whole area, I think it would be a really nice thing. Now, I'm not turning down the idea of putting down more welcome signs towards like the city property lines and whatnot. I think it's a terrific idea. I'm just saying I think we should start off small so far and see if we can get this done, then who knows what the future holds.
It's just my idea. Thank you.
I don't think you're gonna have any trouble raising the money. But it's a good thing, so.
Great idea.
Thank you.
You guys get credit, we get some kind of like shop credit or something in high school for it?
Yes, I talked to the shop teacher. Once we have this finalized, he's going to make it a project for next year.
So do you have any preference on which design out of the two that you presented? Which one's your favorite one or the one you'd be leaning towards?
I said design one, just don't let it be my handwriting. That's gonna look like a 5-year-old wrote it. But yeah, I think the town deserves something new, something better.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
design
one,
one.
one really looks nice.
Yeah, and different, so it's gonna be.
Yep, I like that. And there's also, you know, as far as when you go to do fundraising, you could always approach like the Edge Foundation, places like that for funding.
Raising money is not gonna be a problem. I've done it a lot of times.
You're thinking each one of these is $500 to $750.
In each one, like if we did more of these.
Yeah,
This is just one. So
yeah. So $500 to $750 for a single.
that's what we're looking at. Yes.
Times 3.
But if we did decide to start something new in the middle of next year, where we did like different like signs in all directions where you would come into town, we would probably look towards more professional looking street signs, like contacting Lang Signs, or we could still ask the wood shop if they're looking for project ideas, or Boy Scouts, Edge, all kinds of places.
Might it be something that you could lead the way this year, and then future years, future shop classes could take on another one, and year by year we could add those out there?
And it'll just depend on the shop teacher on whether they want to accept the project or not, because you have to submit that every year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. So that would be up to the shop teacher.
So, and there is economic development funding in the budget if anybody wanted to match or something, the work these guys are doing. Could do that. Okay.
Any other questions for Joe? All right.
No, looks good. Looks good, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Twenty-four 0512 consent agenda.
Still move.
Second.
Roll call?
Belkin.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer. Roby.
Aye.
24-0513, discussion and possible action to approve East Dubuque High School's annual homecoming parade in downtown East Dubuque on August 4th, 2024 at 3:30 PM with street closing for staging in the city of East Dubuque.
So moved.
Roll call?
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart. Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Belkin.
Aye.
24-0514, discussion and possible action to seek estimates for a new audit firm in the city of East Dubuque.
So on this, as we discussed, Cindy Parchert is preparing an RFP for this, and to entice people to take us on, because it's becoming very difficult for small communities to get auditors. She is basically going to let them know that it will be an easy audit because the hard work will have been done by her. So we hope to shift some of the costs that would have been on the audit to the work that Cindy can do. And so that's how we're going to go about it. How we would go about it is that she'll do an RFP and we'll put that out. Okay.
I'll make a motion to seek the estimates for the new auditor.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer. Roby.
Aye.
Belkin.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
24-0515, discussion and possible action to approve the resolution authorizing zero-interest loan agreement for the purchase of a new fire truck in the city of East Dubuque.
So on this is the loan that we discussed, I think, last fall. The fire department managed to get. There will be significant savings because it's a zero-interest loan for 20 years. And we hope to match that up, or we will match that up with a loan from the bank because the truck came in at less than expected, thanks to the work of the fire department, and because we got this loan for $350,000, we only have $300,000 outstanding on this truck. It's my opinion that the expense of going to bonding for $300,000 when we hope to pay it off relatively quickly isn't justified. So the mayor and I met with the bank today. We presented them the audit, the financials we have available. Very shortly, we will have balance sheet and income statements, which is the last things that they need. And then we should be able to secure a loan. They were thinking in the 5 to 7 year range. I asked them to think of it in the 3-year range, and the hope is that we would pay this off in a year. So once we get done with this fiscal year, the next fiscal year, the first priority would be knocking this loan out. And because it will probably be the highest interest rate, thanks to the interest rates that have gone up in the last year or two. And so we will approach the various loan payments we have, knocking out the most costly ones first, and this will be the most costly one probably. So,
Make a motion, Mayor.
Second.
All right. Roll call?
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Belkin.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
24-0516, discussion and possible action to approve street project estimates in the city of East Dubuque.
So you have before you the list that we came up with for potential street projects. I don't have a good idea of how far our money will go or how much we can manage to put toward it because we've got some from MFT. We've got some from ARPA and other funds. So, but we'd like to start the process by getting estimates. Some of these, like for instance, Hyacinth, probably is going to involve at least some section of water main and Other ones, like the joint repair on Montgomery, is probably pretty straightforward. The other ones we'll have to look at in terms of if it involves water main or sewer line, then we may have to, put them into line with the other projects that we have to accomplish in those areas. So we did learn, we've got an opinion, a legal opinion from City Council that we can move forward with estimates as opposed to going through the whole formal bid process if we have a 2/3 vote authorizing getting the estimates and then a 2/3 vote accepting an estimate at the end of that process. So that's a more straightforward process for us than going through the formal bid process on each of these, especially when we don't know how expensive each of these is going to be, so we don't know how much we can afford to take off the shelf.
So when we do estimates instead of bids, how do we do that? Do we notify people? Do they come to us? Because I know previously when they weren't doing bids, people were pretty ticked off.
We notify them. This is a more formal, the formal legal version of kind of what's been done in the past. Those are just done with estimates. The problem is not with reaching out to everybody that's out there. It's that there are not very many companies out there that are competing for work here. So Tri-State Paving gets most of the work, I'm told, here, and finding other contractors to do the work is the hard part. There are monopolies in this business.
Well, yeah, I know that. That's why some of the smaller contractors were a little ticked off that they weren't being able to come in and do bids.
These will be prevailing wage projects.
That's what we're saying.
So if there's anything, that people would like to consider adding or taking away from this, or they're in generally the order of priority, I think, from what I've seen. Tony's here prepared to talk about them also.
No, one thing I'd like to keep in the back of our heads is a lot of the sections of sidewalk going up the hill are sunk. That, I don't know, you guys got spray foam?
Not that much.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could just raise them instead of, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we can look at those until we.
Yeah,
that's a nice thing about
something we got to keep in mind.
Well, that's something about the estimate process as opposed to the bid. The bid, you have to decide all those things before the estimate. You can go out with the people and say, so if you were doing the gutter here too, what would that, entail? So, and find out what from them, what the best way to go about the project is. So those are things we can discuss.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Meyer,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart. Fleur.
Aye.
Twenty-four 0517, discussion and possible action on receiving roof estimates for police station at 193 Cincinnati Avenue in the city of East Dubuque.
So this, I think we've talked about quite a bit, so I won't talk about it much, but the first thing we need to do with that building is get a roof on it so it stops deteriorating. The garage is off now, and we're in a position where we can start looking to improve that building. We need a permanent roof first.
Still moved.
Roll call.
Roby,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
and Meyer.
24 0518, discussion and possible action for authorization to contract for planning the restoration of the fire station at 183 Cincinnati Avenue and police station at 193 Cincinnati Avenue in the city of East Dubuque.
So I've spoken with with Origin because they did the design and looked at everything that was necessary for the new police and fire stations. And they would offer us a contract that for $5,000, they would do all the preliminary work on the buildings that would allow us to seek additional funding, plan how we would go about it. I want to know whether we can complete part of the project, move them in, at least to temporary quarters while we do the rest of the project. I know that I've asked Luke, and the police would be excited about, even if they had to work around construction, to be in a place and see that the city was kind of putting the money where their mouth was for that project, and then even if it involved moving them around within there. So they would do that, and then the additional costs would just, if we went with somebody else to do the final work, then we would have to pay them for all the work that they did. But I think that's a fair way to go about the initial planning, and so I'd like to do that.
I have one question. When we're deciding on all this, for the restoration, for all these plannings, once we get estimates, do the estimates come to a council for approval?
Yes, and again, same process. It has to be by 2/3 of the majority.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
The design work will be just useful 5 years from now as it is next week, so, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Any further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Roll call?
Belkin.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer. Roby.
Aye.
24-0519, discussion and possible action to approve special event permit for East Dubuque Independence Day celebration to be held in downtown East Dubuque on Saturday, June 29th, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. with street closure of the 200 block of Cincinnati Avenue from 231 to 295 Cincinnati. Basically, this is the Edge Foundation. We sponsored it last year. It's going to be the same type event where we'll have a live band in the street, inflatables for the kids leading up to the fireworks. There will be no beverage stand in the street. All the beverages will be purchased through the bars. So it was a great event last year. This year's fireworks should be bigger and better, with the money spent. It should be a heck of a show. So we're just looking for approval for the permit.
So move, Mayor.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Belkin.
Aye.
All right, next, 24-0522, discussion on outdoor seating in the city of East Dubuque.
So we've looked at the sidewalks, and just to kind of get the conversation going, because there are a lot of ways we can go about this. Our understanding of the ADA requirements are that we need a minimum of 4 feet of through traffic area unobstructed, and there is at least 8 feet on the sidewalks. And if you don't count the banners and signs and things like that. So you could go as much as 3 feet out or 4 feet out from the building with tables. Probably you want to go a little less than that just so that you're safe. And you want to make sure that if you have a sign, that you still have your 4 feet distance there. Some of the issues that you might want to consider in this, and would like to hear opinions on, are when we those banners that are out there for the slots and things like that, wave around, and those really, I think, cramp the sidewalk if you're gonna have tables and chairs out there also. So one thing you could consider is that it's an either or. They can have a banner or they can have a table. The other issues, we do need to make sure that people aren't taking beverages down the road. And some communities require the serving people to bring the drinks out, some things like that. Some just, go with it, and if it's a problem, then they deal with the problem. I don't see as much of the need for fencing, physically fencing the area off, if we're talking about something that's 3 feet wide and the distance of a portion of a storefront, but that'd be another issue to discuss.
In our Class D liquor license, it states that it would have to be fenced off. Are we still charging for Class D liquor license? Those are for the patios and different stuff like that?
Yeah, that's the external.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up, that in the ordinance it does. So if we don't require it, we're going against our own ordinance.
So we have to have the ordinance committee take a look at that.
There you go, your first one.
First order of business.
No, it's a great.
There's a few I've got on my agenda,
Great
let me
point.
tell you.
And I bet you that was nowhere on your list.
No, it wasn't. So, but I did want to mention that is in the ordinance, so we should require it and not go against our ordinance. It wouldn't have to.
Or change your ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, you could amend the ordinance.
Well, then you're amending all your outside patio stuff too, so you got to think about that. And if you do a small fenced-in area, it will eliminate a lot of the liquor walking up and down the street. It doesn't have to be anything major. I mean,
I think you could make a pretty good argument too that sidewalk tables don't constitute a beer garden. So I mean, they could be.
but if they're going to be drinking beer or if they're going to be drinking alcohol on the street, it's no different than a beer garden.
That's why we're having discussion. I mean, I think it's good to have discussion, and this is the topic we're gonna, that was getting addressed tonight. Looking at it when, like when I was out there with Bob, when he was talking, has a legitimate point about those flags, when we were measuring it out that way. And I think it's important that we have discussion, and the next meeting, we might tackle something else. There's no action on this tonight. This is just purely discussion. But it's time for, you as council members to interact, get your opinions out, and let's talk about something.
So we got the flags we're worried about. Suppose that the tails can't be less than 7 foot off the ground. You know what I'm saying? That they're up high enough that they're not hitting people in the face.
Well, I think he was talking more or less like the post.
Exactly what we're.
So like the slot
machines.
those
Yeah.
slot flags.
Yeah.
So if you come out, depending on how far you come out, if you have your table
Right.
adjacent to the building, there's only so many feet you can come out this way, and you might hit that post, the flagpole. So the flagpole, if you have tables out there, and you have a flagpole, chances are you don't have the 4 feet ADA. To get.
We're not talking directly about 231 then.
Well, I think it's
Talking about anybody.
it's anybody, because
Overall.
Right.
yeah, I mean, because if
Yeah.
we're not going to do an ordinance just for one
Yeah.
business, but that's where we measured it, and they have a slot flag right out there, and that's when Tony came up and measured it out, and it's like, well, these flags are obviously an issue, and
Actually,
then
when those were put in, they were put in to have the United States flag flown from there, not slot flags.
we were discussing that that day. So yeah, that was one part of it. The other part is when you amend the ordinance, you could treat you could treat outside seating, tables out front, different than a beer garden if you wanted to. You don't have to, you don't throw them all in the same thing. In the same type license, but I just think it's important that we have discussions.
I agree with Bob. I think a server should have to serve it. I know in the ordinance it also requires that there's no glass brought onto the street. So then you have to worry about the garbage too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the bar owner's responsibility to make sure everything's cleaned up and.
Yeah, it should be.
Well, and I think that's one of the things where, as a bar owner, they'd be held accountable for that area, and then if they're not, if it's not being cleaned up or kept clean, or if you're having, issues with it, those can be addressed too.
How does Dram Shop insurance work with something like that on the street compared to being inside? I think we should get someone in to let us know about that. Because some Dram Shop insurances are just the establishment. So do they have to get a rider on their policy, and do we need to have that for the liability for the city?
Yeah, we would definitely, they'd have to draw the area out for their insurance companies, and it'd be handled on a.
There again, I think that's where the fencing would like I said, it wouldn't have to be anything other than a wrought iron small railing that goes around just to cordon off so that you would have a demographic of how the seating was and where it was. It wouldn't take up that much more room.
Yeah, I mean, we can do anything. I think the biggest thing, we should talk to the insurance companies to see if they, the bar owners would talk to their insurance companies to see if there are requirements for that. Maybe there is a requirement, maybe there's not.
I think the normal way would be that they would have to demonstrate to us that they've got insurance.
Yes, and that it would include that area, right? Because they just might have to put on a balloon policy or something like that. State Liquor Commissioner can tell us that information too.
Well, they submit drawings of their outdoor areas when
Yes.
they get their
They always used to.
licenses, are correct?
Well, I think a lot of them already had it.
Yeah,
done, so-
but they're-
But I do have the information in their folders.
Is in the ordinance correct? Do we charge $50 a day for an outside consumption area? That's what's in the ordinance. I didn't know if that was exactly what we charge for Class D.
I'd have to take that, I'd have
day?
to take a look at it. But I can look it up for you and let you know.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
I think there's another factor in it is too that the look of the street when you come down, I think it looks alive and welcoming when you have people enjoying a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever outside. I think we would pay a lot to decorate the street as well as having folks out there in the afternoon. So.
Yeah, I think the thought process behind this was to come up, have the discussion here, and then at our next meeting, take action. So between now and then, kind of draw something up, what we need to get done, and then present it at the next meeting, so that way we don't waste up, the whole summer trying to get it done.
Sue, can you think of any other legal issues that we may have with something like this, just so we curtail them before we even?
Not really, but I do want to take a look at the liquor license ordinance and have that information.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Nothing? All right. There will be no executive session tonight. So there will be no discussion on executive session. So we're going to move on to 24-0523, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Fleur,
Aye.
Meyer,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Belkin, Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
49. Okay.
I'm gonna be here next month, January first Monday in June. Little family trip, Minnesota, Shauna Lake. Saturday to Saturday. Where are you? On June first.
They got lakes in Minnesota too?
Only 10,000, I haven't counted them all yet.
Oh, we got more in Wisconsin. Ours have fish.
So,